Hi.
Hi,
I just noticed you were wearing an Acme jacket. What do you do at Acme?
I'm the CIO there.
Ah, interesting.
And what do you do?
Yeah. My name is Rajiv Gupta.
Oh, nice to meet you.
I work at McAfee. I run the cloud business unit at McAfee.
Cloud business unit? Because we actually are a customer, believe it or not. We use you for endpoint protection and the web gateway.
Oh, interesting. So obviously they want to protect your data, right? Which
Yep,
is, I presume.
that's my job description.
Exactly right. But if you are starting to use any cloud service, are you using 365 or
Oh yeah, we're all in. The
Salesforce?
business is driving me insane with Office 365. The developers are using Slack, and now we have some legacy people that are using Box and Dropbox. It's just a mess, and we're going for the cloud.
Well, so let me ask a question. So, if there is let's say a rogue employee who downloads all your emails, his or her emails from 365, what do you know about it?
That's a very, very good question. I probably not. I wouldn't.
And or someone shares a document from your Slack with somebody outside the company, and the document's confidential. You wouldn't even know about it.
Well, that's something that I've been thinking about, because before we ran Exchange and everything on-prem, and I could hug my servers and ensure security that way. And I've been puzzling myself, like, how do we do that in the cloud?
And that's precisely what we do. That's precisely what the cloud business does. And as you pointed out, McAfee, you knew McAfee as protecting your data in the endpoint, and now we're extending those same controls, consistent policy for your data. Doesn't matter where it is. It's on the endpoint or in the cloud. Doesn't matter if it's in Office 365 or if it's Slack or it's in Salesforce or ServiceNow or even AWS. Now think about it, AWS, right? You have developers writing code.
That's another sore point. For the last 10 years, our developers have been using AWS, like there's no tomorrow. And we also have some VB developers, Visual Basic developers, that are using Azure.
Well, so there you go. So you actually have a perfect environment, which is both, I think, it's compliment to you that you're making your business agile, right? Leveraging the cloud,
Yep.
right? So you have to do the on-prem. But then, as you implied, a lot of your on-prem investments are not relevant in the cloud anymore, right? Because now you're relying on somebody else securing your data. And now you have to worry about having that same different policies for 365 and for Slack and for AWS and such, right? Which presumably is an expense for you.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And my team has been telling me, oh, we just put a proxy in the sky and life is going to be good.
Well, and see, the proxy in the sky is a perfect example how companies are trying to take yesterday's solutions to tomorrow's problems.
So how do you guys solve it? How do you give me visibility into what's going on in the cloud?
Yeah, so before I get there, see, the problem with this proxy-based approach is that if you think of 365, a lot of your data interactions are not even observable on the network. So proxy, as you know, just sit on the network.
Yeah.
Right? So if you just have a proxy, it's like looking at the lamppost, right? Just because the light is there doesn't mean the keys are there. And so what we do is we integrate with the APIs, the native APIs that the cloud providers provide, to give you a consistent plane for visibility of your data, to look for incidents, and to do remediation. So you don't have to worry about doing it service by service by service.
So I said it once in your service, in your cloud, so it's the cloud?
It is cloud, absolutely.
And then you implement it on...
On all your SaaS services and your infrastructure, and AWS and Azure.
So what about my workloads, and how do I ensure that I know where they are and if the developers did the right thing?
And that's precisely, so when we integrate with AWS and Azure, we do two things. One of them is make sure the front door is secure, the application that's running there, right? So that there isn't a compromised account, a rogue employee trying to access this service that you now developers have created. But also we integrate with the APIs to make sure that the configurations that developers are using are compliant. So you must have heard of Verizon and Dow Jones and all the others, right? I'm sure you have, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. And those are problems. Then you obviously aware of those. It's because the developers made a mistake and left those S3 buckets and blob stores open. And so we control all of that from one single console, one single pane of glass, both for visibility and control.
That's fantastic.
And then you mentioned you're a web gateway customer, Mac web gateway customer.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
for many years.
And so perfect. So now for you the value is even higher, because now that consistent pane of control also applies to web gateway. We can use your web gateway, integrate with it to give you complete visibility. Because listen, you mentioned 365 and Slack. I'm sure you know that your employees are using some other services you're not even aware of.
Oh, I'm sure you use like probably 20 or 30 services that I don't know about.
Well, so here's a bet. Let's have a bet over coffee. I don't know if you're a betting man or not, but Acme, I think if I remember correctly, about 8,000 employees.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the number of services that your employees are using is less than 200, then I buy you coffee.
Oh, you're on.
Okay. So now prepare yourself to buy me coffee, because the average number of a company your size is 1,200. Okay.
What?
All right. So by integrating with the web gateway, we can give visibility to where the data is going. We can help you control it, make sure that using these services that you sanction, like an Office 365 and others, and then control your data in those services as well from one common pane of glass.
Right. Look, my dad used to tell me, talking to people never hurts. So I'm glad we had this conversation. So please, contact me. I'd love to get your team to talk to my people and see what.
Absolutely. There'll be an email from me to you before we land, and we'll follow up. And I'll give you in my email. I'll give you my personal contact information. Make sure you reach out to me in case you think there's something you can do
Awesome.
better.
Been a pleasure.
Pleasure talking to you as well. Excuse me, is that seat taken? Can I just move that? Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, I couldn't help noticing your jacket. Do you work at Big Biz?
I do.
Hi, I'm Rajiv Gupta. I work at McAfee at the Cloud Business Unit.